Hello, this is Holly Sanders, and I wanted to do a lesson on how to create and launch discussion boards. So the first place I'm going to start is in our faculty learning community. And you should all be members of this community, and I really want to encourage you to start using it for video and handout resources as well as other information. So you're going to find this under your course list. If you scroll down on your main page and enter the faculty learning community. And this shell's going to look very similar to ones that your students have. It's just blue over here because it is an organization. Okay, to build this discussion board, I'm going to go into our Blackboard resources. So since discussion boards are under communication and engagement, I'm going to go in here to create a brand new discussion. Okay, so to make a discussion board available for your students, you have to do this twice. This is kind of the tricky thing and probably what's catching a lot of you when you're trying to launch them. So we're going to say this is the first part of the process. Come to Tools and select Discussion Board, and that will open the Discussion Board Create link. And as so far in this course, there are not any discussion boards available for me to choose, so I'm going to have to select Create New Form. And this is the first place you will start to put your content. Let me give it a title. Have my content ready, so I'm going to copy it over. This is an actual board that I use in one of my classes. I'm going to bring this over here and paste it into the description box and look and make sure that it pasted correctly and make any changes that I feel like I need to make. Once I'm happy with it, I will continue to scroll down and decide if I want to make it available to students or not, which I do, so I'm going to leave this at yes. I can also decide if I want to enter any date or time restrictions. I'm going to keep this one open, so I'm going to leave this blank currently. Continue to scroll down, and this is where you have some important options as to the way students will see it, and also if you're going to make it attached to the gradebook and worth some points. So this first part of viewing threads and replies, you have standard view, which means students are able to see their post as well as other students' posts as soon as they enter the board. Or you can choose, which is what I normally choose, especially if your discussion board has something to do with, read this article and tell me what you think, something where students can get hints from each other and you want an original post, you may want to choose participants must create a thread in order to view other threads in this form. Basically, this means the form will be empty until they do their original post, and then the other students' post will open for them to read and reply. I'm going to scroll back up and we're going to look at the way I set this up. I'm expanding my description screen by hitting the arrows that go out, so you can have a larger look at the post that I just copied in. The way I organized my post, and I do recommend doing it this way so students are sure that they're doing all the parts of it, is I'm telling them there are two parts to completing this activity. So I have part one, and my part one is reflection. So start by reflecting. And then part two, it says, now it is time to learn from your classmates. Please read and respond to at least 3 classmates. You need to be really sure that you are posting very thorough directions so students know how to proceed with the discussion. When you finish this description post, make sure that you highlight it all, which I'm doing by Control A, and then copy it, Control C. You're going to need to repost that later. So every time you do this original description, be sure that you copy it and hold on to it. I'm scrolling back down. Again, I chose that participants must create a thread in order to view, so there's an original thread. Now I'm coming to grade. I do want this to be a graded assignment, so I'm going to click Grade Discussion Form, and I'm going to make it out of 100 points. As we continue to scroll down, this is where you'll set your due date. You'll want to do this because it'll attach to the calendar. Even if you choose to leave the post open, if you want to attach a grade to it, then you should do a due date, so it'll prompt students when they log into Blackboard. Something that I always change, it says show participants in needs grading status. This is the little exclamation part that will pop up when it's ready for you to grade. After every, and you can toggle this and change it, I'm going to say for this 4 posts. Reason being, my first post, if you come back up here and read the directions, part 1 is start by the individual reflection. Part 2, I'm asking for 3 responses. Just so you know, this is your personal choice. A lot of instructors choose 2 responses. I choose 3 because I use this in a fully online class, and it's an opportunity for further collaboration. So if I scroll back down, I don't actually want a needs grading symbol until I've received all 4 posts from one of my students. I want to grade them collectively. So I'm going to change this to 4. Again, I'll mark the due date. Let's just do a hypothetical due date. Change my time. I always do things at the end of the day. And then everything else going down, you can get more detailed if you want. I personally don't. I think that the way that the Blackboard natural settings work for me, but feel free to go through these and play with them as you like. So now that I've got this set up, I'm going to hit submit. And you can see now that my example discussion is a created discussion post. All right, I'm going to get out of this for a second and show you where you can find this now that it's been created. One of the places is if you come down to the organizational area or the control panel and you hit course tools and go to discussion boards, you will find all of your discussion boards listed here. So here's the one that I just created, and you can go in and you can edit it if you want. Perhaps you wanted to change the due dates, so you can come in here and edit it. Just a special note, you can only change the due date through the tools section, the course tools section under the discussion board area. So once you've edited it, you can hit submit and it will be saved in the same place that we looked at just a minute ago. But once you finish this part, you have not launched your discussion board. It's still just sitting in the discussion board area under the tools. So we actually need to launch it within the course. This is part 2. To do this, I'm going to go to lessons, find where I want to launch it. I'm going to put it under the communication and engagement section in discussion boards. So to launch it, I'll go to tools, discussion board. And here it is, because I created it now, I'm in the launching phase. I'm going to select a discussion board form and hit next. Here's the part where you needed to copy and paste from the first time around. As you can see, the text is currently blank. So I'm going to just repaste what I copied right back in here so I don't have to go back and search for it. This will drive you crazy until you get the hang of it. So I dropped back in the same post from my last that I showed you I picked up when I was creating it. And then here you have another date restriction you can set if you want. Please do not set this one. Any date restrictions you set should only be through, if you look at the little finger on your left-hand side of the screen, the discussion board area under the tools. Because what happens is sometimes instructors will set both sets and can't figure out, why their discussions won't post. So my advice is to leave this one blank at all times and only set this one. And I'm going to go through that again to make sure that everyone can follow me. So I hit submit and scroll down to the bottom, and there is my discussion. It is currently open and ready to go. And your students can start participating. If you want to edit this, you can hit edit just like you do for any type of content, but you're going to get a limited view, and it's the launch view. So here it is. It is available, no date set, just like I told you not to from this screen, and that's all you can do. But you can go in here and say, oh, I didn't really mean to say 2. I mean 3 classmates, let's just say 2, and hit submit. And if we go back to it, it will update there. What you cannot update from this edit point are the due dates or the date of activity. To do that, meaning you will need to do this for every single discussion board you use, say it was in the master and it comes to you every semester, to update those date stamps, you will want to come to your tools section, open it, come down to discussion board, select it, go into the boards, find the one you want to edit, and edit from here. So this is where you get the screen with all the selections, including the gradebook. This is where you will enter your date, begin and end restrictions if you want to use them. This is where you'll change your due dates every semester. So one of the things that makes the discussion board such a confusing thing is that there are 2 areas. So there's where you find the post in or the boards inside to the tools section under discussion board, and then there's the area where you find the post. Just remember where it's actually in your course, whatever folder under lessons it is in, is a limited edit view. This is where you can only edit the text that you have in there. You do not want to mess with the date restrictions, and you cannot set it to the grade book or do a due date from here. This discussion board is set. I hope that I have helped clarify how to do it, and let me know if you have any questions.